Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. We're here to be with you every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon and talk with you about things that really matter in your life. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, Doug. We got a new podcast going on right there, and it's pretty exciting. I get to be with some very amazing people. I'm just glad to be part of the group. So it's a podcast open up for anybody who just wants to know the truth about everything that's political, that's whether you're growing food, whatever. And so it's all out there. So I'm really excited about that. Doug, I think you'd like the podcast.
Oh, I probably would. I don't know if I've ever actually listened to a podcast. I think I have, but I really don't know. That's just right.
The new going thing. I didn't know about. One of my friends had sent information. I've been on the phone. Let me take this thing here off. It's been a crazy morning. But anyway, one of my friends had sent a link to the guy who actually owns it. And so he liked what he heard, and apparently he liked my southern voice. So anyway, I'm really excited about being part of that. And now we did a soft launch this past weekend. And so we'll be full-fledged out there by the 15th of this month. So I'm really excited about that.
What's the name of the podcast?
So the podcast is newscasters.com. Newscasters.com. And it's right there. You can see it under my advertisements. You can see it there as well. Oh, and by the way, if you would like for me to do some research for you and you're listening to we have the best audience ever. So if you would like for us to do a little bit of research for you, I'll be glad to do that. Just send a request to Donna at donnasedge.com. That's Donna at donnasedge.com. And Doug McGee is with me right now. He's with Second Chance Animal Shelter. And Doug, it's great to be with you today.
I'm glad to be here. It's just relaxing, actually. I'm just glad to be here.
This is one of my favorite shows because we get to, I just hate the way that people abuse animals. And they're living beings. And these are the same people that they won't abuse a flower or something like that, but they'll abuse animals. And let's talk about that. I mean, what in the world is going on?
I've really, being part of this, I've always been kind of a philosopher, I would think. I like to sit underneath a tree and think about the meaning of everything. And and a lot of what I think about, because we're in this business, is how people treat animals, how, and I also, like I said, I think a lot about how people abuse animals and the mentality that goes beyond that. It's difficult, and being in this business, we see it all the time. I mean, every day we get some horrific story of some animal. 3 minutes ago, a lady called from Boaz. 2 stray dogs showed up, and she said she thought we can't take them because we were packed out. Animal control is not picking up dogs in Boaz because they're packed out, and if they do pick them up, it's a death sentence. So she said she could foster them, but they're super mangy. So we'll probably help her get treat for the mange. How do they get like that? How do you get a dog that's so untaken care of that it's all mangy? And I do understand mange can happen, but still, people, if they just took minimal care of an animal, they wouldn't have the mange. So we're going to help them, and she'll foster them, and then we'll figure out a way to get them here eventually. But yeah, it's difficult sometimes knowing how your fellow humans. But, they do people the same way. I mean, people treat people mean, people treat animals mean. Not everybody. There are some people on the other side of the deal that don't, but still, it's kind of sad. Just I don't know.
Well, I've seen people in like a Walmart parking lot. They'll park their car, and their kids and their dogs are in it with the windows rolled all the way up. Even in the wintertime is not a good time to do that. No time is a good time to do that.
And then you look at that and you think, okay, this may be somebody that's just stupid. Somebody who doesn't realize that car, especially in summertime, is going to gain 40 degrees in just a few minutes. Maybe they're just ignorant and don't know anything about anything. That's one part of it. And then it may be someone who just doesn't care. I'm going to be in there, and I don't care if the dog dies or not. That's the other side. And, of course, then you got the one that say, I'm only going to be in there for 2 minutes. They'll be okay. That's a dangerous thought right there, because when you go, every time I go to Walmart, I always run across somebody that I
Me
know,
too. I
and
see
I'll be
somebody I know it's never in and out. Never.
so yeah, exactly. So, there's every kind of this degree of in there of what happened. How did, but first thing I said before, unless you have to take that dog with you out, I know the dog would enjoy a ride, and but don't take it to Walmart with you. I mean, the dog can stay at home while you go to the Walmart. Now, if you want to take the dog out for a ride, that's different. But man, leaving them in a car, leaving a child in a car. And when I worked at the police department in Albertville, 2 or 3 times, people's children died right in this area because they left them
Mhm.
in a car. They forgot that they were in there, and it's 100 degrees.
How could you
So,
forget? I mean,
well,
I don't know how you could forget that.
once
The
again, it
kids in
goes
a
back
burning
to
car.
it goes to the one. I know the one instant where the man and women that went grocery shopping, the child was in the car. They took groceries. He thought she brought the baby in. She thought he brought the baby in. They unload the groceries. Then they start saying, "Well, where's the baby?" Of course, the baby was out in the car and it did not survive. That was an accident. But there are some people who don't care. Some people say, "I don't." I mean, the world mystifies me sometimes. I really don't
Wow.
understand a lot
I
of
tell you
things.
what I'll tell you what I'll do. If I'm in any parking lot anywhere
Oh,
and I see a dog or a cat or a car, an animal of any kind, and your kid in the car and you've got it rolled up, I'm going to knock the window lights out. And let
there
me
you
tell
go.
you, I had an incident. This is several years ago. I was at Walmart in Fort Payne. And so I went inside and I told the customer service people somebody has left a kid and a dog in a car. And it was hot outside, hot.
Mhm.
So I thought, well, I'm going to go outside and I'll go back to their. And I was in a hurry. I didn't have time for this, but I took time. So I went outside and was knocking on, trying to make sure the kid didn't go to sleep or something like that.
Yeah.
I was getting ready. It was time. I was getting ready to get a cart and throw it in the window. And this woman comes running out and she said, I was only in there for a minute. And I said, no, you weren't. I said,
See
because
that?
I had time to go in, call customer service, and tell them that you had a dog and a child in a car with the windows rolled up. I said, I almost busted your window lights out.
You sound almost like Wanda, but Wanda is the type that is going to bust every window out of the car. I mean, she gets so angry about that kind of stuff. I'm glad you mentioned Walmart in Fort Payne. It kind of ties into something that happened here. Just probably about 3 weeks ago, I come down here one night to work, which I do that a lot because it's quieter in the evenings, and somebody knocked on the door. And it always aggravates me because we're closed, and I don't want to be. That's why I come down here and quiet. And it's a lady, and she says, "Oh, yeah." And I said, and she just sticks out her phone and shows me a picture of a dog. And I said, "Ma'am, we don't. I'm sorry, we don't have any room to take your dog, and we're full anyway, so we can't take it. And it's after hours." I was kind of short with her at first, and then she said, "No, no, no." She said, "I think you've got my dog." I said, "Well, okay." So I looked, and I didn't recognize it because I hadn't seen it.
Uh-huh.
This couple lives in Valley Head, Alabama, which I don't know if hopefully the people familiar with this area knows where that's a beautiful area. And they had, I can't remember. Oh, a dog had shown up at their house and they knew it had puppies. They could tell they thought it was a nursing mother. Couldn't find the puppies. It was just a small dog. It kept looking for the puppies. They finally thought, well, maybe she don't have puppies. So they took her to the vet and had her evaluated. He said, yes, she's definitely got puppies. So you need to just take her back and let her find her puppies. Then he said, on the way home, he said, I would give her these kinds of food to supplement her to help her get in shape. The lady stops at Walmart in Fort Payne on the way back, leaves the dog in the car, goes in, leaves the van running, and the dog triggered the window, the electronic window, and got out. And while she's in Walmart, she's buying milk and stuff for the dog. We're coming back out, the dog's gone. While she's gone, some people from Ohio that were traveling through were in the parking lot. The dog ran up to them, and they're going like, what do we do? What do we do? So we couldn't find anybody else open. So they got us because it was during the daytime. And I asked her, so are you in the Fort Payne? When she said she's at Walmart, I said, in Boaz. She said, yes, but she was actually at the Fort Payne Walmart. They brought the dog to the shelter. We could tell she was a nursing mother, but we had no idea. But we put it on Facebook. The Facebook community worked like it's wonderful. The people in Valley Head saw it, came to get their dog. They took the dog back. They come that night and got it, took it back and put a GPS tracker on the dog to watch it get his puppies. They found the puppies. They're all safe. they're
That's a happy story.
It was a great story, and it was just showing people from Ohio that weren't even from here got involved. The lady was involved to begin with, trying to do the right thing, help the dog. So we were talking earlier about how bad people treat animals. There are a lot of good people out here too.
There are.
I mean, these people, everybody involved got that dog where now it's living at their house while she has her puppies. And I told them when the puppies got old enough to contact us, and we'd try to help with everything then. But I have a feeling that dog, the mama dog, may have already found a home. I mean, they're great. The puppies they made. It was. So once again, feel good. A lot of times we have negative stuff happen and it breaks our hearts, but there's also a lot of feel good stuff happens too. I mean, there's some really good.
How can we help you? Okay, so you're full capacity right now.
We're always full, and that's something that frustrates me as a mathematician, as a person who views the world through a mathematical lens. That bothers me because I don't see an answer. Nobody wants the big dogs. And I know you like your big dogs, and I like my big dogs. But as a rule, 90% of the people that come here are looking for a small dog. So it leaves all these big dogs without anywhere to go. And of course, they get stuck here, and we can't move them. If we move one big dog out, there's 400 ready to come in. Bring a little dog in, I mean, it's in and it's out. That's not a problem. Small dogs and young small dogs especially, are not a problem. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of smart people in listening to this show. If anybody can write it down, come see me or whatever, we got to figure there's got to be a logical solution to finding a home for these big dogs. There is no answer that I can see. I mean, I don't know how we can make the public want big dogs. That would be the key. Because nobody does.
I can help you. Okay, so we have a big dog. Buddy is our boy, and he's part of the family. I mean, this dog is part of the family. As a matter of fact, in our will, if something happens to Phil and me, I've got that taken care of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how serious we are. This dog, I really don't even have to have we've got guns here. I'm not anti-gun at all. I have guns here. But I really don't need a gun as long as that dog's around. Because he loves us to. I mean, he protects us. If a squirrel runs across the yard, he'll bark. I mean, he's just always in protect mode with us. And oh my goodness, he's mellowed out a little bit since he's got older. But his instincts are still to guard Phil and me. I mean, that's all he cares about. That's what this dog lives for. And if you'll get a big dog and you're an anti-gun person, so be it. Be anti-gun. That dog is going to be better than any gun you could ever have anyway. Yeah,
because, I mean, most people, even if a burglar's breaking into your house or somebody's trying to harm you, a big dog that acts aggressive, even though he may be a love bug, is a big deterrent. That's why police use them. I mean, police don't use little dogs. I know maybe just sniff drugs in airports or something. But as far as, the police need, use dogs because they know that's an intimidation factor. Now, hopefully that wouldn't be the only reason you'd want a big dog is so I can scare my neighbors into leaving me alone. It would be, you'd want a big dog to be part of your family just like yours is. And then the dog will take care of the rest. I mean, especially a German Shepherd or breeds like that, they're going to protect you. And hey, there's a lot of value in that, a whole lot of value. You'll sleep easier. I've got Chloe. She's my big dog.
We sleep fine.
Chloe's my big dog. And, she's an 80-pound pit bull, black lab mix. And I think she knows her role at nighttime. Now, sometimes she carries it too far. And when the wind blows, she barks in the middle of the night. And I tell her, I say, of course, I talk to her like she understands me. I say, Chloe, now only when somebody breaks into this house, you bark and you bite. If nobody breaks into the house, don't bark, please. The other night, it was kind of, the wind was blowing or something, and all night long, so that was a little aggravating. But I do believe somebody came in that house. I think Chloe would, I don't know what she would do. I think she would probably do her best to defend me and at least she would give me enough time to react on my own. I mean, because when she barks, I'm on edge. I'm not on edge, but it wakes me up and gets me. I know something's going on. So,
well, see, the thing about Buddy's, we've not trained him to be that way. His instinct is just for protecting us.
yeah,
I mean, that's all. But I'm gonna tell you, I have some fun. Buddy is a sweet, calm, sweet boy. I mean, as much as he's overboard sweet to Phil and me, so we have a lot of great times with him. But I get tickled at him. We have a cat too. We both of them are rescues. So Buddy and Greenlee are both. And so Greenlee, the funny thing, and I'm going to video this one day, so I can. Phil feeds both of them every morning. So, but the thing about it is Greenlee will try to get into Buddy's food, and there's no shame with a cat. I mean, I'll say, now Greenlee, that's Buddy's food. You can't have Buddy's food. You have your own food. I'll talk to him like that, and he'll just look like, so what? But Buddy, as big as he is, 80-something pounds, as big as he is, he's shamed. So he'll go towards Greenlee's food, and I'll go, now, Buddy, that's not your food. That's Greenlee's food. And he'll just kind of start looking off, and he won't touch it, and he'll act ashamed. He'll do that.
He may not know the exact words, but he knows your intent. What you're trying to tell him. He does.
He knows I'm talking about Greenlee's food. He knows I am.
When you first got Greenlee, was Buddy aggressive to him, or did Buddy accept it? I wondered, when you first get a new animal, sometimes if a dog's protective, they'll want to protect you from that new member of the household.
Yeah, he wanted to protect us from Greenlee. He still doesn't like Greenlee. Those two don't get along with each other. They're not, and I'll talk to him. I'll say, "Now you two are brothers. You need to learn to get along with each other." And of course,
we
they
do
don't.
that. It's funny. Same terminology. We got 4 dogs now and 3 cats, and we always say, "Don't mess with your sister like that," or "Don't be no." We actually, and I don't know how we humanized them, but because I think they really understand. The cats. Our cats are, they're different, completely different. The dogs want attention. The cats, if they want attention, they'll come by and let you touch them.
They'll tell you.
But but they're not going to. You're not going to track it. They'll come here and let me pet you. They, if they don't want to be petted, they got words for you. I mean, our cats are I love our cats. One thing about our cats is they don't bother us at all. I mean, they want to be petted. They'll come up and be petted. And as soon as they get tired of you petting them, they'll ignore you. They'll be over there. They won't bother a thing. And eating, when I eat supper, right or wrong, I give whatever meat I'm having, I give each dog bites of meat. That's just my way. They'll all line up. But the cats, they could care less if they get anything or not. And if I gave them a piece of turkey, they'd come over and smell it and lick at it and have to decide whether they want to eat it or not. And all this. The dog, of course, you swallow it whole. You got to love the animals, and I wish everybody loved them at the same level. I mean, I wish everybody's level of humaneness towards animals rise just a little bit, so that nobody abused them. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, because it hurts me. Animals know whether you're an animal person or not. And so my Aunt Elizabeth is 102 years old, by the way. A few years ago, she listens to this call and tell show that comes on, and somebody was just giving away jars. And she knows I can, and I preserve food and stuff like that. So she called me and she said, "Donna, they're just giving them away, and you'll have to clean them because they've been sitting in somebody's barn." So I went down somewhere in this community, and so I went to go get the jars, and I piled the car full. But the thing about it is, this woman had this big dog, and he was barking like crazy. And he weighed pretty about like Buddy. He's about that size, and he was taking care of his person. But I got mother was with me, and mother said, "Don't get out of that car! Don't get out of that car! That dog looks like he's going to bite you like that." I just got out and I said, "Hey, pal, what you doing?" like that, and he goes, "Oh
yeah."
And so his owner came out there. Now mother, he would have eat her alive because mother's not an animal person at all. And so the owner came out there and she said, "Well, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen," where he stopped barking. And I said, "I love animals." And I said, "Dogs and cats, all know I love them." And there's just something, though, a dog picks up on that. Now he's barking at mother. She had to go put the dog up.
Yeah, and I get that some people aren't animal people. I mean, I understand that there are different realm of people. So some people just animals irritate them. They don't like them, don't want to be around them. And dogs, like you said, react different. If somebody's, animal control, a lot of them are really good guys. I mean, they really are, but their job is not, animals don't respect their job.
Yeah.
I mean, and dogs. So when any animal control shows up here, the dogs are more agitated. Even if it's a good animal control person, the dogs, for the most part, do not treat them well because I think they sense. It's almost like to me like all the dogs saying, "Hey, there he is. Hey, they got to brought me down here," and then the other dogs, and they all kind of gang up and bark at them. I don't know if it's a bad animal control person, and I've seen this too. One that just has no heart for dogs. I mean, the dogs really do. They all just kind of go stupid. So
you just made a great point. When people act, well, I've heard people say they're just dumb brutes. And that gets all over me when somebody says that. It really upsets me. But you just made a point. These dogs know they're not dumb brutes. In fact, they're smarter than a lot of people I know of.
And I think 1,000 years from now or 200 years from now, the way we treat dogs and animals is going to be a whole lot different than the way we treat dogs and animals now. Because we will start to understand our connection with them and their role and our role and all that. I really believe that. I've seen too many shows where they, especially border collies and dogs like Australian shepherds, people train them, and German shepherds, people train them to do amazing things. There's no way that dog could do that unless it had a logical thinking mind.
I totally agree.
I mean, so yeah, I think that they're a lot smarter. Of course, I do think some breeds of dogs are smarter than other breeds of dogs. I mean, everybody loves the little French bulldogs. Well, only few we've ever had, I wasn't impressed by their brains. It really wasn't. Cute as a button, but I think, man, that dog just don't have enough sense to walk in the door hard.
Yeah, but some people have crazy little kids too. It's because they don't know how to train their little kids. And so this is what Buddy will do. And I'm bragging on my big dog, okay? He's as smart as he can be. And he's a mixed breed. I mean, he's not full-blooded German Shepherd. I mean, he's not. He's got a mix in him. But so Buddy won't get a treat until he sits.
Oh, wow. So that's a good thing.
He doesn't get it. And also, Phil has trained him where he'll just put a treat on the table, and Buddy's wanting it. And so what Phil says is back. He tells him back, and he's sitting there wanting that treat like all. He's drooling, and then Phil will go, and when he says go, he'll get it. And he says, nope, back. And we do our finger up like this. For some reason, he thinks that means back. So we'll go back.
Whenever I'm feeding at dinner, whenever I'm feeding them, I'll throw them on their little bites, and when I don't have any left, I'll do like that, and they'll quit paying attention to me. They understand that means I'm done.
They know. See what I mean?
Yeah, they say, "Hey, I'm done," and then they all go back to do whatever they were doing. But until then, they're looking at me like a bunch of vultures wanting some food. I do believe, and I don't think it's just dogs, because we've domesticated dogs, we have a lot more information on them, but I think all animals across the board, I think from the smallest to the largest animal, I think they have a intelligence that we haven't grasped and got connected with yet, but we will get there, but probably not in my lifetime. And I'd like to see it. I'd like to see a day where we can pull a Dr. Doolittle and communicate with them. I mean, I'd like to see that.
We're beekeepers. And what I'm saying out of beekeepers is if you don't walk and act like you're afraid of them, they'll leave you alone. I mean, they won't sting you. But if you go in there and you act afraid, you start waving your hands, you start doing all this crazy stuff, they'll come at you. But because they're defending their lives is what they're doing. So Phil and I can actually go around these bees and not even have a suit on.
And they don't even bother. Well, mosquitoes are the same way for me. I never get bothered by mosquitoes because I don't try to swat at them. And I just kind of like ignore them. And you'll go to Buck's Pocket every Sunday during the summer. There's a lot of mosquitoes, and mosquitoes don't bother me at all. And I thought at first might be because I smell bad or something. I don't know. I don't know what they didn't want my sorry blood. I don't know, but still, I can walk mosquitoes and they don't bother me at all.
They figure you're sweet enough. You don't need any more sweetness.
That's it. But once again, I think it's because they just know that I'm not going to I don't swat at them and try to kill them and stuff like that. Now, flies are different.
Yeah.
Flies aggravate me. And of
right.
course,
Flies are from Satan. I'm telling you. Satan.
Yeah. When I get a fly, I'm always going, I'm smashing it, trying to do everything I can, which is, someday I may regret that. I don't know.
Doug, we're going to have to go into a commercial break. Can you believe 30 minutes is already gone?
Wow.
So we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
My Towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring-spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
MyPillow.com.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters, and we're out there spitting it out to you just like it is. I have Doug McGee with me right now, and Doug is with Second Chance Animal Shelter. Doug and Wanda, who is the glue who keeps everything together over there. Thanks, Wanda, for every single thing you do.
Oh, Wanda's the driving force behind. She is now. She's a workhorse. I don't know if she will not let me call her that, but yeah, she is the driving force.
That was not a good thing. Okay, I'm taking that from you.
Pack mule would have been a little bit worse.
I don't know. I've got a food dehydrator I call a workhorse, so I guess that's a good thing actually.
Yeah, she is a working person, and she keeps everything. Really keeps it moving.
She does, and does so many things also for the community as well. So, and I'll tell you, somebody else I want to mention is Teresa.
Yeah.
Teresa's the one that makes sure you get the right link when you come on the show.
Yeah, I'll be lost without. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't be on this show if it wasn't for you and Teresa. Because Teresa's one connection. I'm not exactly up to par on electronic stuff because it's just not my thing. But she keeps me going, and she's taught me a lot about. So I'm actually learning to be more and more efficient with it. So, but you said
you've come a long way, Doug. You really have come a very long way.
And we got a pretty good staff in a lot of different areas. Teresa kind of handles things in the office and keeps me kind of heading in the right direction. Wanda, gets everything going out in the kennels. Well, we've got a lot of good workers here and volunteers, and I mean, it takes a village kind of as much as I like the phrase.
We know it.
Yeah, it does. It takes a lot of people to keep this moving, and we've got a lot of people that do help us, so it works. I want to mention the aluminum can. I don't know if anybody's familiar with my goal for several years. I wanted to recycle 1 million aluminum cans, and the reason I want to do it is there's 32 cans in a pound. Each can is worth about a penny and a half, so 1 million cans is $15,000. Of course, it comes in. The last load we took brought us $88, so it doesn't come in at $15,000 a pop. But just casually try to collect. Right now we're over 42,000 cans that we've got people have brought to the shelter, and I just think so. Anyways, if you collect aluminum cans and instead of throwing them out, we sure would appreciate people bringing them to us. And I've tried to figure out a way to track it. Everybody, United Way has a thermometer. Everybody's got this thermometer. We want to reach 1 million cans. That's boring stuff. But I want to do a distance thing. Every can is normal aluminum can is 5 inches. So right now we've got over 4 miles of aluminum cans. If you made a big tube out of them, and I want to take it, I want to see how far we can go. 80 miles will be 1 million cans. Mm-hmm. And I would just like to, take a journey with the cans. Just was driving down the road, picture a tube of aluminum cans. Right now, we would be from here. The shelter is about 4 miles to Boaz. So if we started here with a tube of aluminum, we would have it all the way to Boaz. So, and I want to track it and start telling stories about going on a journey through the cans and whatever. And it may take years to get 1 million. It probably will. But last time, I think we took 8,000 last load we took. So, and that was less than a month. So save your aluminum cans. We eventually it'll add up to money. The money will trickle in, but if we ever get 1 million, we know we've got around $15,000 for the shelter. So
Mhm.
I want your cans.
Now, let me ask you a question. Is that just aluminum cans? Would tin cans work?
Well, a lot of people don't know the difference. Aluminum cans generally are the ones that you drink a soda out of or a beer out of or whatever you drink out of them. And then the tin would be stuff like food cans, like green beans or whatever. It's just aluminum that we can, if you bring tin, we will pile it up and take it. We can still work with it. Dog food would come in a tin can normally.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if we get 10, it doesn't bring anything. It's a totally different scale on paying, but we'll still track it. I mean, hey, we'll tell you if you got any kind of metal, we know metal pays about $5 1,000 pounds, 100 pounds up there. So I don't want to start a recycling business out here, but but I would definitely like to just see if we can get a million aluminum cans. But if you bring the other, we'll take care of them too.
Now, are you guys are going to start doing an online where you sell stuff online? Are you thinking about doing that?
We have, and it's just one of those projects that keeps getting knocked around. If anybody out there has any expertise on that, we'd love to have your input. We've talked about doing marketplace kind of stuff and selling, because a lot of people bring. Right behind me is a little refrigerator somebody brought. We're using it for medication here. But people bring us things like that all the time. They'll be and we have a thrift store. It's called the Spinning Wheel Antique Store in Boaz. They gave us a booth, so we have sell some, and that's probably $100 a month that generates. But it's just like a consignment kind of booth. But yeah, the online marketplace, I think we could generate a lot of funds for the shelter. By somebody called yesterday and had some rocking chairs and some living room sofa chairs that they wanted, and we really didn't have an outlet for them. So I told them to find somewhere. I would appreciate the offer, but if we had something, we could do, sell them and make money for the shelter.
Mm-hmm. That would be awesome. Now your stuff is where in Boaz? You have is it a consignment? Is it consignment?
It's a Spinning Wheel Antique. It's Spinning Wheel Antiques is where it's at. And honestly, Wanda's sister Ellen handles all that, and I'm not that familiar with, but I know that it's a booth, and they donated the booth to us to allow us to do it, and she handled. And every month she brings a check for $60, $80, $100 from stuff that people brought here. She takes it there. She handles it. Wanda's been there, but I hate to admit that I haven't even been by there, because that's not. But Wanda loves going to places. Wanda's been by and seeing it with her sister and all. So, I mean,
well, let's talk about that. We want to send people out there. So, what kind of things? And it's in Boaz. Where at?
It's called Spinning Wheel Antiques. I don't even know the address, to be honest, because once again, and I'm ashamed to admit, but Wanda would know all that kind of stuff. We need to get her on here someday. And it's there, and it can bring stuff here, and then we'll make sure Ellen, Wanda's sister, gets it, and she'll take it and she puts it on display and all that. It's a good outlet. And of course, once again, if we got somebody who knows how to do the marketplace stuff, I would love to do that. We can come up with a place to store stuff as long as they try to sell it. I mean, I just think it's a great idea. And it's environmental, reusing stuff rather than throwing it away is great for the environment. It's just the way the world is. I mean, reusing and recycling is something we need to do just because we love the earth. Not to
hang on just a second. Hey, Phil, can you bring one of those 10 things that I've made? I'm going to show you what you guys could do too, and you could sell these. So the reason I ask about tin cans, so here is this is a tin can right here, and you can hang it outside. And so right here in the middle, I make these and I sell them. And so in the middle, what I've done is I've just put a bunch of old beads and stuff around it. And then at the bottom, I got some ammunition. And I put that so it's kind of, so it's like a wind chime. And I mean, you guys could, the audience can make stuff like this and send it and then help you guys raise funds. This costs very little to make.
My mother makes dishcloths. I mean, she's knitted the real cotton kind of dishcloths for years, and she's made hundreds or probably thousands. And so she's got some up there. So yeah, that's really sharp. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we'd like to have donated. And I mean, things we'd like to have and try to to sell.
Mhm. So if you got somebody that would donate some, the marketplace would be good. So, and let me talk to the audience for a minute. So if you're talented, you got a little bit of time on your hands, maybe you've just retired and you're driving your wife or your husband crazy because you have just retired, you need to keep yourself busy. And I've seen people retire, not do anything, and it's bad for the health. I mean, it's bad for the mind. You've got to keep your mind busy. And by crafting is a great, great way. So if you wanted to do something like that, or maybe help with the marketplace and design a page for Wanda and for Doug, I think that would be a great thing to do.
I would love it because I do see, I mean, I'll show you it right here. I'm going to have to take a second to show you something now. Well, I thought I had,
Oh, yeah, I love those books.
The Idiot's Guide to Starting and Running a Thrift Store. And that's because that's kind of where we want to head. An intermediate step would be marketplace, because it takes a lot of money to open up a thrift store. You've got to have a lot of capital to get a building and shelving and all that stuff. So I had already thought I want to get something moving because people bring things. A lady come by here one day and had a bunch of, it's called depression glass. I guess it was because it was made during the Great Depression.
That stuff's nice.
And my mother had the pink, my grandmother had the amber, and my aunt had the green. They all had their sets. And she brought a bunch of pink depression glass that she was just had. And she said, I just had this. And she understood it had some value, and it really does. So we took it. And, of course, I don't even know what, it's probably in our storage waiting to get it on Marketplace. So, yeah, if anybody out there is retired or just wants to help us, give us some advice, I'd love to start doing that. Because if we can sell something there and make $50, $100, that's the same as a donation. And we need funds. As much as I hate the fact that we need money in this world, me and my mother have talked about it.
You've got to. I mean, my radio station, I couldn't make it without people buying ads.
There you go.
You can't do it just for nothing, and we got a lot of support. We got the most wonderful sponsors ever. They're absolutely fantastic. But think about this. If you only made $50 a month, that's $600 a year. That
absolutely
it adds up.
It does. It makes a big difference, So, yeah, if anybody there, I know you got a lot of people that follow this show, and I know that there's got to be somebody out there that's not kind of bored. A friend of mine, he retired, and he doesn't play golf, he doesn't fish, he doesn't do nothing. And finally, he has a lot of money. Money's not the issue. He took a job as a security guard for 3 nights a week to get out of the house. He said, if I didn't have that, he said, I'd never leave and go anywhere. His wife died a couple of years ago, so he's at home. He said, I'm bored out of my mind. He said, I've done all the yard work I care to do. And so he took a job, went back to work just to keep himself occupied and to do. He said, other than that, he said, I just sit around and do nothing. So,
well, see, Phil has retired 3 different times.
And go back to work.
And now he's running a business. So now he's running the show, So
gotta have a purpose, like my friend said, he thought retirement would be great. He's at home and he comes up every Friday. I ate lunch with him every Friday, and he said, you got to have a reason to get up and get moving. So he's working security, and I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, he's not done anything with any of the checks he's got from the security thing. He hasn't direct deposited, and that money just sits there because he doesn't need. He just wants to have
something
a reason
to do.
Yeah, and that'll keep him alive.
Well, I wanted to mention this too, maybe for folks who are drawing unemployment, maybe they're between jobs right now. You can volunteer as much as you want to. You can volunteer, and it's not going to affect your unemployment checks. And I'll tell you this: employers will ask. A potential employer will ask, "What did you do when you were unemployed?" If you say, I volunteered for Second Chance Animal Shelter or for anything, you're going to get the job because people want somebody who's going to work and who wants to stay busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it looked better than, I don't know, I just laid around on the couch and watched TV. It shows you got some.
I'm sorry, that won't make it. You've got to work.
We have a lot
got to volunteer for you guys. what do they need to do? What are the steps?
The main thing, if you can just show up here, and then we can go from there. But we need volunteers for every aspect of life, not just feeding, watering, and taking care, cleaning kennels. That's one part of what we do. A volunteer that could help with us set up a marketplace, that would be fantastic. Volunteer people who can help design a plan to deal with these big dogs. Yeah, all you got to do, main thing, show up here, tell us what your interests are, and we'll go from there. Or call. If you say, hey, I'm interested in, we got one lady that for 3 or 4 years now, you get a newsletter every month. Her whole volunteer effort is folding the newsletters, putting them in the envelopes, putting the stamps on them, and sending them off. That's what she does. And we keep track of her hours. She spends about 8 hours a month doing this for the newsletters, and it's priceless to us. If she didn't do it, we'd have to have somebody here doing it. And it's just absolutely, and she's 70 in her 70s at home. She seems to enjoy it. I go by and visit and get to take it in. It's perfect. That's the example of a great volunteer situation. I don't think she's ever been to the shelter. She may have one time, but I don't believe she's ever been here because I think she would want to take all the dogs. But it works. And that's what we need, volunteers. Don't think because it's an animal shelter that you're limited just to taking care of dogs, because we need everything. Every possible. Me and Wanda are going to Wisconsin tomorrow night to take some dogs up. Once we get to know somebody, we'd love to have volunteer drivers and things like that. We've had a few in the past, and they normally work. Somebody that could help us take dogs anywhere. But that's, you're going to have to know. You can't just walk in today and say, hey, I want to drive your dogs to Wisconsin. We have to know you and trust that you can get there and all this kind of stuff. But volunteers, we need them. One interesting volunteer we're getting right now is called Vape Court. All these kids that don't realize how detrimental smoking and vaping is, they're teenagers. They're 14, 15 years old, and they decide they want to be cool and vape, not realizing that's going to be something that's going to affect them for the rest of their life. Well, if they get caught, a lot of them aren't they get busted, and they send them to vape court. And I think the first time is 16 hours. They have to do community service somewhere. So pretty much every Saturday we'll get 3 or 4 vape court kids. We call them kids, but they're normally teenagers, and they have to come out here, do their community service. Most of them are great. They're good kids. They just kind of come out here and do what they got to do. Second time, I think it's 40 hours. So maybe they'll learn a lesson. Because once again, my message to kids is, man, you're starting too young. If you're vaping, smoking, and you're 14, 15 years old, that will, 40 years down the road, I can just about guarantee you will regret that decision. But if you don't, I think when you have to do community service, that might help you regret that decision.
Well, let me ask you a question. This pertains to businesses. So I know that businesses can set up it's kind of like where they can take money out of your paycheck, maybe $10, $20 a week or a month, whatever. And a business can do that and then give the donations to you guys.
We get a few, I think, it's not Bell South, but I think it's a phone company. We get a check every now and then from them where people have it deducted from their check. That's the only one I know of. We're in the process of getting, Walmart has a thing now where people can, if they purchase something, they can round up. I'm not a fan of, like, if I go to, I'm always asked to do that at fast food places stuff. But Walmart has got something where you could opt to round up, and Second Chance could be the beneficiary. You may pretty much name your charity. And Teresa's been working on that yesterday and today, trying to get that lined up to where if you go to any Walmart and say, yeah, I want to give the 16 cents or whatever change, just round it up, and it adds up.
That adds up.
It's a big difference. Amazon used to do it, but they've done away with it. For every purchase you made, they got like half of 1% or something, and they've done away with that program. Amazon Smiles, it used to be, $150 every few months. I mean, it definitely adds up.
It does. It's just a good thing to do. And you won't even, and if it's out of your paycheck, you really won't even miss it. I mean, there's a guy called Uncle Sam who takes a lot of money out of you.
Oh, yeah.
Someone named FICA, and they take money out of your paycheck. But I mean, if it's just a couple of dollars a month, I mean, that adds up. And
United Way, I used to do it for United Way probably 20 years ago, and I worked for a factory, and I would have like $5 a week taken out. I never missed it. And, you know, in a year, it does add up. So a lot of people, I mean, it's a way to find out if your business has something like that, and just tell them, and hey, we would appreciate it. Because like I said, as much as I haven't, philosophy has not allowed me to come up with a solution to this. Me and my mother talk about it a lot. Money, the love of money is the root of all evil. And money to me, I can't stand the idea of money, but we got to have it. You know, as much as I'd love to just drive up and fill my tank up with gas and not pay for it, I've got to.
You got to. I mean, this, you know, life evolves, life happens. I mean,
that's right. Money is an essential part of life, and there's many times, as much as I hate to admit this, where I have the solution to a lot of my problems has been money. And I hate to even admit that, because I don't like, to me, it's a piece of paper. It's just what it is.
You got to pay bills, though. You got to pay bills. That's just the way it goes.
We have to pay our employees. We have to pay for fuel and electricity and all those things. And I'm trying to never consider, I don't think I'm a material type person. Things don't matter to me, I don't believe. I may be more materialistic than I want to admit, but I also understand you got to have money to make things, to make things happen.
Of course you do. I mean, to make life function, you just have to. I mean, nobody, unless you figured a way to have electricity without paying the power company. I mean, you know.
But then you got to have equipment that you're going to have. Everything, you got to have money, and we get money coming in, and I really want to be a good steward with my money, and use it to make the dog shelter a better place. But and how it comes in, like I said, we can get it from people donating a few cents to whatever, millions. I don't care. I'll take it any way I can get it, as long as it's legal.
Absolutely. Let's talk for a few minutes. We have, looks like about 4 minutes left in this segment. So let's talk for a few minutes about how people can adopt, or maybe, get a dog for a weekend or something.
Adoption is pretty easy. Years ago, we kind of went the wrong direction. A lot of shelters make it so difficult to adopt a dog that it puts people in stranglehold, and they won't adopt from them.
Sure.
And we get have a lot of people called us and said, I went to so-and-so, and they said, because I didn't have a 40,000 square foot house with a air conditioner for my dog, they wouldn't adopt. It's almost that. I'm exaggerating, of course, but a lot of shelters, but the tendency is to go away from that. I know one big shelter in a big city who says if they can walk in that door and they're not noticeably drunk or high, I'll adopt them a dog. Because it's been proven that 98% of the people who go to a shelter to look for a dog have good intentions for the dog. I mean, it's been proven time and time again. People who go to shelters generally are animal people. People who buy from breeders may have different motives. They may, especially a breeder of pit bulls or something. So we've really loosened our standards. We still have standards. We still, when people come in, if I recognize them as a frequent flyer at the police department, that's a red flag. If we know if we can tell, then some people we know aren't going to be good animal people. If they're homeless, as much sad as that sounds, I don't think they need to come get a dog. If they can't live and have they got to be some type of stability. But anyway, show up, fill out an application, and as long as that dog's spayed or neutered, you can take it home that day. Our adoption fee is $60, and it's spayed, neutered, microchipped, had all its shots, and they're just waiting for a home. We try to keep our adoption fee low. Comparatively, there's one shelter 30 miles from here, adoption fee is $350. So, we want to keep it low because we want to bring you in here and move these dogs out, knowing that your intentions, that 98% of the people that come here, their intentions is good for the dog.
Let's talk just for a second, too, because Christmas is coming up and people are thinking about animals for friends or kids or whatever. You really kind of need to know what kind of animal they want, don't you? Otherwise, the recipient's going to bring it right to you if it's not what they want.
Make sure everybody in that household, if you're saying, I'm going to get a dog for Uncle Bobby's kids, make sure Uncle Bobby's wife, the Aunt Mary who lives in the house with them, all those people are animal people. Because if not, the dog will end up back here, and that's not good. A lot of people think they're doing a good thing by getting somebody's kid a puppy. You just got to make sure the household where that dog's going is set up, ready. They understand that. And you might have to reveal to the parents, hey, I want to get your kid a puppy, and make sure they're okay. But if you don't, it's a bad idea. And once again, like you said, ask them what kind of, maybe try to feel out what kind of dog if everybody in that household has not been outside in the last 6 months because they're in there piled up on the couch watching TV, and there's no energy, do not get them a rat terrier or any kind of hyper puppy. Don't get them because it won't work. Get them a old bloodhound or something. It just wants to lay there like they do. The dog needs to fit the lifestyle of the family. If you got a hyper dog and the whole family's lazy, then it's not going to work. If you got a lazy dog and the whole family loves hiking and all that, then the dog will be left by itself.
That won't work either.
Yeah, so you got to look and think about when you go to adopt a dog, think about your lifestyle. Hey, I travel all the time. I'm never home. You may not need a dog. You may love to say, hey, I don't need, but you can. That's where you can come out here on the weekend when you're home. Come to the shelter, get a dog for the weekend, take it home, play, have a good time with the dog, bring it back to the shelter when you get ready to go back to work. There's a solution to all those kinds of things. You can be a part-time dog person if you travel all the time. We can adopt a dog forever. You can keep that word. If you adopt it, it's not for temporary. You need to you need to keep that dog till it dies or you die. Either way. You need to have long-term plans if you decide to adopt a dog. Don't just get it temporary. And that happens. People come in and get a puppy when it gets big. They say, well, it was cute when it was little, but I don't want it anymore. It comes back to the shelter. I know. It happens.
That's upsetting. It really is. And I'm thinking about some of the guys that really are not into animals and they want to impress their girlfriend who's an animal lover. Okay, so don't get one just because you want to connect with this chick. Okay, don't do that either. If you don't like animals, you need to learn to like them before you get one.
There you go. That's a big thing that we run into is a man and woman, and she loves dogs. He doesn't. She'll get one, take it home. And it's a huge problem for the marriage. And a lot of times, especially if they split up, he'll harm the dog just to get even with her because he knows that dog means everything to him. And all of a sudden, he decides he wants to go somewhere else or whatever. And we get those calls. And that very first thing we was talking about, people not treating him. That's the kind of calls we get that just rip our hearts out. My husband, I split up with my boyfriend. He took my dog, and I don't know. I hadn't seen it. I don't know what he did with it. Did he bring it to you? No, we haven't got it. And we know she's heartbroken. Not from losing that loser, but with her dog. Her dog. Yeah. My wife ran off with my best friend. I sure do miss him or something. Yeah. Or my wife ran off or took my dog, and I sure do miss that dog or something like that.
There's a country song about that.
Yeah, there is. Like everybody goes, But anyways.
Now we're going to have to close. How can folks get in contact with you? What's your telephone number and where are you located?
Our telephone number is area code 256-561-2411, 2411. Call us. Like normally we try to answer every call that comes in. We're located on just off Highway 168 in Boaz on County Road 398. It's a little dirt road just off of 168. If anybody's familiar with Pax Nursery, which a lot of people in this area are, we're real close to their property. Come by and visit. Check us out on Facebook. It's Second Chance Shelter. We're the one in Boaz. There's several out there, but we're the one in Boaz. Call us. Come visit. We'd love to have your input. We'd love for you to adopt a dog. Anything you want to do, we're up for it. Just get involved.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you so much for being on today's show. It's been awesome being with you again.
I always enjoy it. And we'll see you soon.